Hello and welcome everyone to Conversations with Tona Brown. I am here with Alexander Pennecke. Did I pronounce your last name right?
That's okay. It's Pennecke, yes.
Pennecke, okay.
Yeah.
I am here with Alex Pennecke, and when I tell you guys, I'm so happy to have this interview with him and for him to let us know how he's doing, and now he's having these big breaks, and so I want to bring him on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really great, and I'm thankful to be here, and it's kind of come full circle because you were one of my first singing teachers, singing coaches, so, you know, it's kind of fun to be back here and speaking with you again.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think that it's so great that you took the time out of your very, very busy schedule to inspire others, because that's what we're all about on Conversations with Tona Brown. And I just felt like I had to have you on the show because, as you said, with the full circle thing, I remember when you were going to GMU and working hard, and you were an athlete, and you were doing so many different things, trying to figure out where you wanted to be in the industry. So tell us a little bit about what that was like when I knew you back then, and then how did you get your first big break into acting?
So I knew I wanted to do something performance related. I was going to school for pre-physical therapy. I was running track at George Mason University, but we had taken classes together, as you remember, in the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area. And I reached out with, wanting to work on my singing and maybe get into that, into that sphere. But then I took an acting class kind of on a whim, and because you have to take a required arts class. I took an acting class kind of randomly, really enjoyed it, and from there I decided to segue into acting.
Okay.
So, yeah. One of the things was, when you're just getting off the ground, doing classes is a good idea. Auditioning for plays at George Mason. George Mason's great because I was able to audition for those plays. I don't know if all colleges and universities allow that, but I was able to actually get my first, theatrical credit and work with the film students and get some film credits, which is like really, you need to get sort of like your footage when you first start working. So I was able to do that as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. And I totally forgot that it was before GMU that we first started working down in Hampton Roads.
Yes.
Thank you for reminding me, Alex, that we go way back to Hampton Roads, Virginia, and that you were starting to take the voice lessons then. So that's really, really something. I'm trying to remember around what year was that?
Because I graduated from high school in 2010, so I would think it was like 2008 or 9, probably. Wow. I know.
Wow.
It's not 20 years though, but it's a ways. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it just, but what I always noticed was just how much talent you had. And then I remember telling you when I saw you again at GMU, I just knew that you had a star quality. And so I want to explain to people that for many of us who've been around different celebrities for many years, whether it's personally or just watching the industry or me being a violinist accompanying different people, there is a certain energy that goes with someone who goes into acting and is very successful. And then there's also a certain look.
Right.
And of course that changes depending on the type of roles that people are doing. But I just knew instinctively, I said, you know what? Someone's going to see him and see his talent and put him on the big screen. And I just knew it from an early age. I just had that feeling. So it's really awesome to see like that happened for you.
You were right. Maybe not. I'm not quite there yet, but you were right to, that I'm on my way. Hopefully it continues,
Absolutely. And it will, because you have the talent and you also are a hard worker, and that goes a long, very long way in the industry. So when you got to GMU, you started doing auditions. I know we were taking voice lessons on the side, and you were trying to figure out what you want to do. So what happened at GMU that made you say, I want to do this like full time if I can.
So, I was getting out of track. I was running track for the school. I'd walked on the team, and I don't know, my love for it kind of waned. I got injured in high school, and I didn't find that I was quite as fast as I would, which when you want to be, you're in college, it's a higher level of competition. You're hoping to be even better than you were in high school. And I just found that it wasn't maybe happening for me, maybe partially the injury, and maybe just partially it wasn't for me anymore, So I was looking for that thing that I could apply my focus to, because once I get into something, I'm very focused and I go very hard at it. So when I took the acting class and found that I liked it for my arts credit, it kind of clicked for me. Let me try this. I don't think I quite right away was like, this is what I want to do, because being an actor, thinking about being an actor and pursuing it, it's like, for most people, it's like, how do you even begin?
Where do you start?
It's like, luckily we have the internet nowadays, so I can look and research and find, go do extra work, go do background work on shows. Are there any shows that are, that are produced in the Washington, D.C. area where we were, or close by that I can get to? Is there anything where I could go do background work? And you just ask questions and you talk to people, and eventually people are kind enough generally to offer to offer their advice. And I would skip class once in a while. I'd go down to Richmond, Virginia, or up to Baltimore, to DC, and I'd do background work, like on House of Cards or Turn, Washington Spot, Veep. Those are the shows that were filming. Yeah, exactly.
Love those shows.
Yeah, those are the shows that were filming back then. So I was able to kind of, I wasn't the focus, but I was able to kind of get in there and start seeing how a film set works, how to stay out of the way, how to get in the way of the camera and try and be seen when you want to,
Right.
Because that's like an extras. That's what all of us background actors are trying to do. We're just trying to be like, oh, did you see me? I got in there for a minute.
Right,
I got in
right.
there. I am right behind the main actor. Like, you see my face for 2 seconds,
Right,
So,
right.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, he went up there for House of Cards, and he said he has the most famous elbow ever.
Really?
Because right in
It's
his
right there.
Yeah. His elbow as he's closing the door. And mind you, his scene was so awesome because he was there with like Cicely Tyson and all these huge people. And they decided in the final cuts to cut it, and they apologize and want to bring him back on, but all you see is his elbow, and then the show gets canceled.
Oh no.
So like he was so close. Right. Close.
These are the things you look back and you like laugh at. Like, I'm glad I did those things. Did they make me famous? Of course not. But they were like opportunities and stepping stones to where I am now. And honestly, if you do background work in a place like Virginia or Maryland, or these places, a lot of them are right to work states where they hire a certain amount of union to non-union people, and there aren't many SAG-AFTRA actors down in these places. So if you do background work, the chances of them giving you your like a waiver for the day are very high. So I got 3 union waivers from doing, from being one of the union actors for the day.
Okay.
And as a result, I was able to get my SAG eligibility. So there are little ways you can chip away at it,
Yeah, because people don't realize, for those of you who don't understand this talk, they don't realize how much it is just your fee just to be a part of SAG. Like thousands of dollars, you guys, to be a part of it. So thank you for, giving that tidbit to people. I think that's really important. And that's what I love, is that what we're trying to explain to you all is that if you have a dream or aspiration in any kind of way, there is a way to get to where you're going. And everyone who comes on my show ends up giving some amazing tip that I'm just like, you know what? I'm really glad that you said that, because I think people just assume a lot.
Right.
Especially with your famous overnight sort of thing, your overnight success, when that's literally not how it works. Literally, you're just knowing about us.
Absolutely.
But we've been doing this for years and years and years.
Oh, 100%. I mean, people have reached out to me after seeing me on Brilliant Minds, and I'm sure we'll talk about that in a minute, but they've been saying like, oh, you're a natural. And it's like, I mean, maybe to an extent I had some natural ability, but I had to work at it. It wasn't like it wasn't just was like, I'm going to go do this show real quick and let's just see if I'm good at this acting thing.
And play a disabled person
Absolutely.
at that. Like,
Absolutely.
you did such a beautiful job. I kept watching it over and over saying, does he break character? Does he break character? And I just felt that you really, really committed to it. And for that to be one of your biggest, if I'm allowed to say that, one of your biggest breaks, or at least like
to this point, it is my biggest break. So it's fair for you to say that.
And to do such a difficult character, not just because the person was disabled, but also like all of your lines. Like, I was so impressed.
Thank you
so much. And I was so happy for you that this was a big break, because it's something that people can see and know. You're not just someone who's pretending to act. You know how to act.
100%.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I agreed. Yes, I feel like if my big break had been, let's say, playing a cop on some show or playing a criminal on some show like FBI Law and Order, I'd be just as grateful.
Absolutely.
But I feel like having to take on a disability, my character has Tourette's, and do it in a likable way and in a believable way, I think that's a greater showcase for me, is what we're saying here.
Absolutely. As far as like to test your talent. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, Alex was on Brilliant Minds on NBC, and he plays a disabled young man and who wants to have a surgery so that they're not, jumping from their disability. And my heart went out for your character and that decision that you have to make on the show. So don't want to ruin it for anyone, like total spoiler alert.
Okay.
But
yeah, I'm wondering. I was like thinking to myself, should I say like what I have, or should I not? And it's funny because people, before it aired, people were asking me, oh, well, what are you in it? Like do you? Because they knew about the show. They're like, what's your, like, are you a patient? Do you have like something? What do you have? And I'm like, I can't tell you anything. I'm sworn to secrecy. I made a pact with my own self, you know what I mean? And if I give that up, that's like me kind of going back on a promise I made to myself, you know what I mean? So I kind of kept it to myself, and then people eventually watched it. They said, oh, okay, all right. So if you want to I won't say anything, but check it out. Episode 11 of Brilliant Minds. So
absolutely, you guys are going to love it. It was a great episode, and I just felt your character so much. And as I was saying, from being a teacher and someone who's had so many friends who have gone into different forms of the entertainment industry, I was also very happy to see you take on something so challenging and that be something that people can see, so that they know that you're serious about your craft and you can do it very well. So bravo. I loved it. I was like, yes! Oh my goodness. Because all of my students know, when you were my student, everybody knows that I'm your biggest fan. And I tell everyone that right up front, because I want to see people succeed. And that's why we do Conversations with Tona Brown anyway, so that we can talk about different issues that might be a little more challenging for people to have, and also just to give people inspiration so that they can get out here in this very tough world.
Right.
And just go for their dreams, no matter your age as well, because I think that's important to mention.
100%. I got into acting in when I took my first acting class, I was 19. I took an improv class, and then I took an acting class at college. I was 20 years old. So, it takes some time. Some people, so there is no seniority is the funny thing. You could pick it up tomorrow and get a lucky break and be further along than me, whatever that means, further along, or it can take several years, and that's more likely that it will take some time. But if you go for it, you can make it happen. And I think I just wanted to bring back what we were saying earlier about doing background work in Virginia to at least get your SAG eligibility, things like that. Or not, don't join SAG right away if you can help it. Maybe hold off, set some like independent filmmakers, because there's an independent film community and there's an independent theater community, community theater community in every area in this country. There's always someone with a camera who wants to make something. So as long as you get in with good people, you know, you want to be careful, but you can find the means to at least get yourself a reel, get yourself an agent in your area. I think you can do a lot more in wherever you're from, and for me it was Virginia. You can do a lot more wherever you're from. You don't have to necessarily pick up and go to New York or LA right away. Plus everything's self-tape. All the auditions are self-tape nowadays, so you could live anywhere and audition for anything. So,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
That's interesting.
Most auditions are self-tape. I taped myself for Brilliant Minds. I had my best reader, a friend of mine. We got it in one take, which is rare. But you could do, I know, one take, boom, that was it. Yeah, and we send it off, and that was what I got it on. I know, but usually,
that's awesome.
But you don't have to. You could take 50 takes if you want and send them the best one, you know? So
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. I didn't know that. You guys are hearing it first here. Because I did not.
Most of them.
Excuse me.
Most of them
I did not know that. That is really incredible. Congratulations, though, on that.
Thank you.
So, what is something else? I think one of my issues as a teacher is hearing people make so many excuses as to why they would never be chosen. Did you ever have any insecurities in that matter, or had you been hearing some similar things from friends? How would you? What would you recommend or tell someone if you heard that?
Any sort. I think that I should start from, well, I just booked something huge, and what I mean, not to be like brag, I'm saying that like I have had all of those thoughts and insecurities at one point or another, and I still have some of those thoughts and insecurities. I don't know if they necessarily completely go away,
right?
But they become less of a voice, you know. They're not as loud. The voices aren't as loud with that sort of thing. The negative, if you can just go for it, and you get a small break here, you get a small break there, and you sort of say, oh, okay, well, I am doing it. I'm doing it, you know. So you also have to watch your energy and watch like who you're bringing into your circle and who you're listening to. You know, I've gotten pretty good at finding ways that just to kind of circumnavigate those kinds of people if I can, or if there's someone that has to be in my life, just finding ways to not allow their negative talk to impact me as much, you know?
Absolutely. Such great advice. Such great advice.
Thank you.
If you had the perfect role, I know this is that cliche question, but if you had a perfect role to play, you don't even have to say a specific movie or character, but what do you think it would, the perfect role for you would be?
You know, I think it's crazy because the Brilliant Minds role, when it came along, I said to myself, I resonate so deeply with this person that I have to have this, you know? And I knew deep down, no matter how much I felt I had to have it, they could go with somebody else for any litany of reasons. They could say, we don't want this guy we want this guy because he's tall, or he's short, this guy because he's short, we want a guy because he has red hair. I mean, it could be anything. We like the way that guy's voice sounds. We're going to go with them. Sometimes it comes down to that. So for me, this was the perfect role. It really was. It really was. I feel like so strongly about this. And when I got the audition, I was lucky enough that my manager calls me up. She's texted me like 100. I was at work. I didn't check my phone. So I checked my phone like a couple hours later. I got like 10 texts, 20 texts, and like 3 phone calls, voicemails. Like, Alex, pick up your phone. Like they're like interested in you. But like I've had it rubbed under my nose so many times. Then they take it away. It's happened to me a million times before. So I didn't get my hopes up too much. I said, that's great. And then a week later, it was official. I had booked it. So, but to not cop out of your question a little bit, I think I'd like to do something next that has maybe some elements of comedy to it. I think would be fun. I think that would be kind of a nice way to show my diversity, and then maybe the ideal role for me would maybe be something that's like somewhat edgy. We ask ourselves, is this a good guy? Is this a bad guy? You know,
Yeah.
something
I
like
could see
that. Yeah,
that. I
yeah,
could see
yeah.
that. That would be hot. And I like that you brought that up because I was going to ask about it, but you beat me to it. Being versatile in your acting and not being typecast into like just being, let's say, even though this was like the perfect character for you, being a disabled person in every show that you do. Have you been thinking about that? Are you worried about that in the industry?
I honestly don't think that's gonna happen, at least for the disabled portion. I just think of that as this was his character trait. He just happened to have that. But what got me the role was maybe how I resonated with that element. But the director told me he liked my relationship with the reader who's reading, the therapist, who Zachary Quinto's role was.
I did too.
He liked my audition tape and my rapport with the reader. So he almost felt like, yeah, you did a good job with the disability. That's fine. But for him, it was about the relationship and how much of a nice comedic sort of rapport. And so I don't think I will get typecast based on this. Now, if it happened in the future and I got typecast as whatever that may be, I have no idea.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, if it happens and I keep getting known for that, that's great. And then I have to find a way to break out of that. You know, I think Matthew McConaughey had it. He was always in these rom-coms that weren't serious, maybe the type of work he wanted to do, but they paid the bills.
Right.
You know, and he became known as the rom-com kind of guy. But then he had to step back, leave the industry for a while. Then he was able to be taken more seriously for maybe the kind of work he wanted to be doing. So, that's lucky. I hope that I could have the kind of career he had. Let's just take it one step at a time. But not worried about typecasting yet. But I'm certainly aware of it and just trying to like be as diverse as possible, do as many things as I can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to do that. And like I said, I totally see all of those things you just mentioned. Just from knowing you and just seeing your talent over the years, I could see you as a bad guy. I could see you as the Joker. I could see you doing like a actual like over the top role. Like I can see all those things.
Thank you.
And I want the world to. And I think we all need to do better at supporting artists these days. And so I do want people to support you. So where can they go to actually like find you online?
Absolutely. So I check out my IMDb page. I love that when people are checking my IMDb page. It helps me because then I get boosted in the numbers and more people maybe have a chance to see me. Then who knows who's watching? They can see my videos. They can see, oh, well, let's check this guy out. So you can check Alexander Pennecke out on IMDb, or if you want to follow me on Instagram at Alexander Pennecke, the whole thing, Alexander Pennecke. I would love that as well. Every little bit counts. So
well, you've given us so many gems in this interview, and I'm thinking to myself, what can we expect to see from you, or should we expect anything to see from you, let's say over the next 5 years? If you could just put it out there, what is something that's deep in your spirit, in your heart, that you would like for us to look out for in the future?
So we're putting it out there and hoping that action and it brings that energy to. Okay, all right. I love that.
There you go.
Well, here's the tangible one that's already there. I have a small part in an episode of Raising Canaan. Yeah, I think
y'all heard
Raising
it
Canaan.
first here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Tona Brown, y'all.
But that will be season 5. I don't know. They're shooting all of it so far in advance, but
wow.
I'll be in an episode of that, and then yes, and then also I think what I would basically like is I would like to start getting some lead roles in some independent movies. I think stuff that either gets into film festivals or gets me into at least theaters a little bit.
Yeah.
That would be
what
nice.
What about short films?
Short film? Hey.
My ex got me into short films, and now I'm like, I go on YouTube and I type in short films of all different types, and I'm like, this is really cool. This is kind of cool.
Sure. I mean, I would love to be at least in a leading capacity or heavy, like, supporting capacity in short films, feature films, independent movies, and I just hope to keep hitting. What I would hope happens this year is I get all the Dick Wolf projects out of the way. Like, I get a bunch of guest stars on that, the Law and Orders, the FBI's, the Chicago shows, all those PDs, those fires, Chicago fires. I would like to just rack up those credits, so that I have. So look at this body of work that I've done, and then I think and then I will be taken more and more seriously by the industry. That's what I hope happens in the next 5 years. Let's put it out there. Yeah.
Let's put it out there, because I can see it. I remember you as a young student, then going through college, so I know that the sky's the limit, and you guys are getting a behind the scenes before he gets too huge for my show on Conversations with Tona Brown. Thank you
I will never be
much.
too huge for your show.
Yes, you are always welcome here. And now we have partnered with Uptime app, so a lot of people are going to be seeing this interview all around the world.
Wow.
We're super excited for partnering with them. And what they do is they take our interviews and put it on their London-based app to 11 million subscribers.
Wow.
When they find something really interesting, they just send me a note and say, hey, don't you want to upload this? So I'm pretty sure that we will be definitely uploading this in season 2 of Conversations with Tona Brown. Thank you so much. You guys are here with me as I talk to Alex Pennecke.
Pennecke, yes, you got it.
Okay, just want to make sure I said your name right. I just want everyone to support you. Please follow him on his Instagram. Please follow him on his IMDb page. And if you guys like content like this, please follow us on Conversations with Tona Brown everywhere you can get your podcast. Please rate, subscribe, all those things, because it really, really helps us with the thumbs up. Please share this interview once you hear it, because we want more people to support Alex and to support this show. And again, thank you all for being with me today on Conversations with Tona Brown, because it's so crazy to see an artist that you knew was going to be a star ever since a young age actually get out here and make it and do phenomenal things. And so I had to bring him on Conversations with Tona Brown. So thank you one last time, Alex. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, audience, for following us and supporting us here at Conversations with Tona Brown. And until the next episode, bye.
Thank you, Tona. Bye.